Hello, I'm Genevieve. Are you one of those struggling to get a good score in comprehension questions? Then this video is for you because I'm about to take you on a ride. The ride is to simplify how to answer comprehension questions to enable you get that perfect score you are desiring. Comprehension is a passage of short length given to students to read and answer the questions that follow. As the name implies, you are expected to have a deep understanding of the passage to enable you to get that score. In this video, I'm going to explain different ways comprehension questions are asked and the approaches to answering them. I will also explain the marking guide to enable you know what to embrace and what to avoid. Are you ready? Let's get started. As I said earlier, I want to explain how to answer comprehension questions. But before I proceed, I want to advise you to bring out your first question from West African Senior School Certificate Examination. It will help you to follow this video and gain a lot from it, because most of my examples and the illustrations are taken from the passages in different years from this particular examination body. The first aspect I'm going to explain is the interrogative questions. The interrogatives, what, why, how, and where questions. I think the issues we have is mainly on what questions, because students make mistake of answering it as if it's why question. If you are given any what question, the first thing you will have in mind that is the answer will be direct. Don't use any preamble in answering what questions. Let the answer go directly. Avoid the use of because, when, or adverbials. For example, Joseph always came to school late. He was warned to desist from lateness to school and he remained adamant. During the assembly last week, Monday, the principal announced that Joseph had been suspended for 2 weeks. The question is, what made Joseph go on suspension? The question is on what? Therefore, the answer will go directly. He was always late to school. Now, let us look at the why question. Why was Joseph suspended? Joseph was suspended because he was always late to school. Under why question, you can use because, and you can also take preamble. Another example you can see on this is on question, the passage of 2022, Wase. What incident made Alani have a rethink? What incident made Alani to have a rethink? You go straight to the answer. The resignation of 5 of his workers on the same day made him have a rethink. Another interrogative question we are going to look at is the one that the answers are clearly stated in the passage. But then you have to pay attention to details before you get it. These questions do not pose challenges, but attention must be paid to details. If not, you may leave something out, and that thing is the answer. For example, let us take example from November 2012 question. On my trips to Lagos, it was my practice to take a passenger at the toll gate as a companion. This was to ensure that I was not alone during the trips. Every Monday morning, I would leave my family in Ibadan to work in Lagos and then return on Friday evening. Policemen were my favorite passengers since I realized that their presence in my car gave me confidence. The question now is, why did the writer prefer policemen to other types of passengers? When you go back to the passage, you will see their presence in my car. In my car is highlighted because this place is telling us that these policemen are the ones in his car and not the ones either on the street, at the bus stop, in the barrack, or any other place, but the policemen in his car. So when you are answering it, you must add in his car to make the answer correct. So the answer is the presence of policemen in his car gave him confidence on the road. If there is no in his car, the answer is wrong. So pay attention to details. There are also some passages that some sentences are generalized, but when the question comes up, the candidate should particularize it to get the answer. Example is May, June 2020. My mother never thought it necessary to inform any of her children that she would pay them a visit in Lagos at any time. After all, no child would refuse her entry into their home. She had always been lucky to meet a member of the household each time she came visiting, and it was unimaginable to her that a day would come when no one would be at home to receive her. The question is, why did the writer's mother never inform her children her intention to visit them? Now, if you don't pay attention to details, you will quickly pick, no child will refuse her entry into their home. That is generalized. Does it mean that Mama can now go to any house? This character here can now go to any house and the door will be open for her? No. So when you want to answer this question, you particularize it to the writer, to the character we're talking about. No child of hers or none of her children will refuse her entry into their home. That is the correct answer. Now, let us look at the second way question can be asked, and we have inference or implied questions. This is a question that the answer is not clearly stated in the passage, but the answer is there. From the understanding of the passage, or from the understanding of the message in the passage, you infer the answer. You have example in WASE 2013, where a math teacher was brought to a school. And when the man was brought, the students looked at him. He was looking gaunt, lean. They didn't like him. So because of that, they just gave a mild clapping for him. And then the question says, what did the students' mild clapping suggest? What did the students' mild clapping suggest? The answer is not there, but from the understanding of the message, of the environment, of the passage, you can infer. You can infer. Another passage again is on 2015, when a particular governor wanted to widen the road, and a particular man, a very strong man, said that his house will not be pulled down because widening of the road required that some houses, some trees will be pulled down. So as the bulldozer was walking, they got to the man's house. The man had already given a warning that nobody should defy his warning unless that person will go the way others went. And when the driver of the bulldozer got to the man's house, he was afraid. He wanted to take his leave. But the governor came to the side and wanted to assume the role of the driver. The driver already knew that if the governor should drive that bulldozer to pull that house down, his job was on the line. So the driver cried to the governor that his children were still young. And the question says, when the driver said that his children were still very young, what did he imply? The answer is not clearly stated, but from the understanding of the passage, you can infer the answer. For the first one of mild clapping, the student did not like him or did not think much of him. The second answer, he implied that he was going to die and leave his children behind uncared for. From the passage, you infer the meaning. From the passage, you infer the answer. You imply what the person is talking about. The next one is evidence questions. Evidence questions. Here, a question is asked and you are expected to give the evidence from the passage. You can take examples from WASE 2012 and WASE 2018, May, June. The question says, what evidence is there in the passage that Badamasi was a wealthy man? Now, from the passage, you have this except he made sure that his 72 workers had signed out before he signaled to the driver. There, in the huge limousine, he thought of the multi-million dollar contract of his construction company and how he would get a helicopter from the profit. Now, the evidence that Badamuti is a wealthy man is written here. He had 72 workers, he had a huge limousine, he had a multi-million dollar contract. So it is expected that the student will list out this evidence. I hope you know that evidence does not take S. Evidence is evidence, no matter how many there are. Another question is the attitude questions. You can see example from WASSE 2010 and 2019, May, June. When it comes to attitude, you have to read the entire passage and understand it before you know the attitude of the writer. Here, the candidate is required to read the passage carefully and take note of the choice of words of the writer. Are the writer's words that of condemnation, hatred, admiration, encouragement, dislike, contempt, respect? From the passage, you will know this. Now, let me take example with 2019, where the writer wrote about a particular character called Adamu. Adamu's mother died when he was very young, and his father was very poor to take him to school. But then the father married a wife who did not care for Adamu. So Adamu was left alone to take care of his life. He struggled, did a lot of skills, and enrolled himself in a school. From the passage, it is said that he was a workaholic. He worked very hard and was able to achieve what others achieved. He was also very intelligent. So at the time, the writer was his classmate. They looked at the way this Adamu worked hard. And then the writer tried to make mockery of it and said that he worked as if he is being pursued by a demon. And his classmates laughed. When the laughter subsided, Adamu explained his ordeals in life. And the writer said that he admired him and he respected him. From that, you will know that the attitude of the writer towards Adamu is that of admiration or respect. Another example from November-December 2019 English question. The excerpt there says, if you attend weddings in the cities of a country, you will think ours is an affluent society. In the venue, you see posh cars parked outside, guests dressed in different flamboyant styles and assorted expensive food and drink with loud noise of different genres of music. Immediately you step out of the hall, you witness scores of beggars outside waiting to jump on the remains of the food. Now, from what the writer wrote here, what do you think is the attitude of the writer to weddings in the city? You actually know that the writer condemns it or the writer dislikes it. So from the choice of words, from the message, you will know the attitude. In the next video, we are going to take other parts too. Quotation questions, figures of speech, grammatical names and function, replacement of words and the like. If this video has impacted on you, please like, subscribe, share to your friends, turn on your post notification so that you get notified whenever I drop a new video. If there's any topic you want me to talk about, write it in the comment section. So see you